one of the biggest concerns that women have is getting naked with a new man, meaning old body, new man. Thank you so much for joining us today on Second Act TV. Today, I'm so happy to welcome back Joni Caldwell Lerner, the motivational coach, dating coach, the life strategist. Joni, you just do it all. Thanks for being here again.
My pleasure as always.
Today is a conversation we haven't had, and quite frankly, I'm not exactly sure where it's going to go, but it's such an important topic that I thought this would be really great to talk with Joni about. And that is one of the biggest concerns that women have as they age, when they're back dating after 50, 60, whatever, is getting naked with a new man, meaning old body, new man. And
Yes.
conversely, the whole that saying, lights on or off. I mean, this is a huge issue that, yeah, a lot of people don't talk about, and I want to talk about that today. You actually brought this to my attention. Tell me why.
Well, I think it's really important because I really, my whole mission, so to speak, is for people to live their most alive lives, right? So it's not about what they look like. It's not about what they've accomplished. It's about how alive is the person today and then tomorrow and tomorrow. Because, I'm over 60,
Mhm.
you're over 60. We have a couple of decades left, maybe, right? How are we going to live them? And so part of this is getting rid of, finally stamping out this body image thing,
Mhm.
this illusion, this lie, this stupidity that says we're supposed to be smooth and perfect. And 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 having experienced it, I want to address it. I want to talk about it, shine the light on the shadow.
Yeah. For those who haven't seen the movie yet, I haven't seen it yet. I've just read about it, and I've got to see it right away. Is good luck to you, Leo Grand, or whatever. It's with Emma Thompson at 62. She plays a woman, a widowed woman, very conservative, didn't have much sex in her whole life, and she hires a younger sex worker to experience having an orgasm, and she does full frontal nudity. And that's, I guess, what her mission is, to change the way that we think older women look or should look, or not even look at them, that being naked at that age is horrible. And I think that's what translates into the bedroom, is that we are so concerned with what we look like.
So here's what I think people get nervous about, and certainly I did, and people I coach have talked about. What if, and oh my God, what's he going to think, and is going to, and the lights are going to be on, and the lights not going to be on, but so that's all happening in the cranium, right?
Mhm.
But when you're turned on and you're engaged and those hormones are going, you're not going to be thinking about all that. It's going to be so natural.
I agree with you, Joni. I'm going to put myself in the position of our viewers, our listeners, our women. And by the way, we have a lot of men. I really would like to hear your comments on this. Is what we're saying? Do you agree?
Mm-hmm.
Do we overthink all this, or is it really a visual thing that we need to placate, if you will? So the women who are watching, I mean, we're talking on a level that this is maybe where we should be or want to be, or wouldn't it be nice if it were like this? But a lot of women do not feel like that. What is a practical way to get us there? What do women who haven't been, sexually active, who've been married for 30 years, who've only been naked with one or two men, one in many cases, what do they need to know to prepare in a practical world, get there mentally?
Well, first of all, the only way out of fear is through it. So
Mm-hmm.
just know that there's a little trepidation there. That's okay. That's normal. A practical thing to do is have a conversation with your guy. If you're to the point where you are feeling intimate, monogamous, trusting, whatever the requirements are for you to have sex, then there should be a foundation to be able to have a conversation and say, listen, it feels like we're moving this way,
Mhm.
and I'm really excited, and I'm also really scared, and I want you to think I'm beautiful, and I feel really insecure about my body. I haven't had sex with anybody anybody else other than my ex, for whatever it is. Have the conversation.
Mhm.
The other part is protect yourself. Have the conversations about STDs.
Mhm.
Do you use a condom? This is not just for teenagers.
Yeah.
Uh, you know, so you have a right to have these conversations and lay the foundation. Now, you and I talked about lights on, lights off.
Mhm.
Men are very visual. They get very turned on by the visual of us, right? So they usually want the light on, and the woman's like, yeah, flip, 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 off, on, off, off. So compromise. I have a rose quartz lamp, and it's got a one of those stats on it, where you dial it up, or you dial it. So I go into the very lowest thing, so he can still see me, and so we compromise. Now the truth is, too, for me being able to see his eyes, me being able to see him love me, does actually turn me on. So here's the other thing, practically, go in and brush your teeth first, and then run out, take your clothes off, and jump in bed.
I'm going to take it back even further than that.
Okay.
And this is when we first launched this show. I had a tag, or well, it was something we said that really was overarching for all this confusion. But it's whatever happened to the hair down there. That's how
Oh,
much this world has changed, and that symbolized not just the hair, but just everything that has changed. Everything is so different. We didn't have online dating, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But what about that? When I came back on, my girl, I mean, this was like a revelation to us that what happened to pubic hair? And these are things women who are coming back on, maybe need to know.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Is the whole thing with lingerie or cover, looking good or working with your body or hiding your flaws, or we think you're hiding your flaws. Are you doing that for you or for the man? Do men really like lingerie? That's the question for our guys. Or is this
Well,
really something that makes us feel beautiful?
I do think that men like lingerie.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it's the visual, right? I actually bought lingerie, and it was really about signifying me moving from a very matronly feeling of I felt very invisible. I felt very old. I felt very unattractive because I hadn't attracted anything in so long. And so I did what I could to make myself, I even had those fake eyelashes glued on.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, which is expensive and time consuming. I haven't done that in years, but I did what I could to make myself feel good. Now, had I been more confident in myself, had I felt more whole, probably I wouldn't have needed to do those, but I'm not going to judge that.
Mm-hmm.
And we shouldn't judge ourselves. We do what we need to do, can do, want to do, but because we want to,
Mm-hmm.
not because somebody else says so. Now, going back to your down there, I had no clue, but I quickly learned,
Yeah.
and I will never go back. I
Mm-hmm.
enjoy.
So funny. And we laugh about this. We're talking like two little 16-year-olds, but that really is how it is. Both you and I were in long-term marriages. And yeah, we fall into that category where all of a sudden the world is different. And now we're going to be intimate to this level with somebody else. What's interesting about it, though, is that even younger women have, I mean, it's like we really don't outgrow these fears that have been implanted by by Hollywood, the media, whatever, about what we should look like or what men really want.
Okay, so let me just say something to you. So you and I knew each other 40 years ago, met each
Mm-hmm.
other 40 years ago. And I swear to God, you were hashtag goals. I wanted to be so, I know you didn't know that at the time because I was trying to be like a cool new friend, but you were beautiful, you were athletic, you were lovely, you were lean, you were all these, and you were kind. I mean, you were a really kind human being. But I have always had body image issues. And I innocently inherited them from my mother and my older sister, diet pills and shots. And I mean, I watched, and they were beautiful. And I thought, you guys are nuts. Well, I inherited that. So I look back in my 20s, and I'm way more confident now at 62 than I was at 22 or 24. And I was a lot smoother then. I was a lot tighter back then. But I was constantly looking at my thigh and my arm and so there's a freedom, people. There's a freedom when you just let go of that.
Yeah. One of the biggest, and I'll share this, I've shared it before because I've done videos on it, is I did a story on a nudist resort, a clothing optional resort. And the reason I did in Palm Springs here, because I heard that people over the biggest, the most people there are people over 50. It was the biggest revelation of my life, how when you're with all these older people your age, and they're just there, how you're all equal, how I mean, it was just it's like being in a different world. And there was nothing sexual about it. This is strictly, we didn't want, clothing optional. And I know people, when I tell people this, when I tell my friends that, they oh God, I could never do that. I would and I was like that. And that is, I think, where most of us somehow need to get to, not to go to clothing optional resort, but yeah, this is what we look like. Again, that's why I applaud Emma Thompson for what she's doing.
Yeah. Yeah. There's another saying, absolutely, by the way. I mean, that's very courageous. There's another saying, act as if. Act as if you completely accept yourself. Act as if you totally love yourself until you can get there. Because I can't, you can tell somebody, well, just love yourself. How do I do that? I've had decades of, other people's voices in my head and negative thoughts and what have you. But as we get older, and this is yet another study, hormonally, we tend to give less of a rat's patootie. By the time you're 80, you're going to be like, yeah, here I am. Woo.
That's funny. Well, it's funny too. Emma Thompson, whenever interview, said that because you'd say stand in front of a mirror, which she does in the movie, and love your body. But she said this not. I don't. She said telling women to love your body is a little extreme. She goes, be accepting of who you are. You don't have to love it, but you just don't hate it, or you don't, that just be accepting. And I thought that was really good advice. That sounded like something women can do versus, oh yeah, I'm really going to love this. That's a bigger leap than accepting who you are, I think.
What if we looked at our bodies as these roadmaps of a life well lived? We've had babies, or we've had surgeries, or whatever it is, whatever scars that we carry, it could just be laugh lines.
We can do that, but then let's get back into real life. If we're starting with a new man, how will they go there? The apprehension of getting naked or having the lights on. That's again another very real life practical thing that I don't know. I don't know if there's an answer other than if we maybe talk about it, we get somebody to think about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And here's the thing. If that person, if your person wants a Barbie, then they should go get one. They're not your person.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we're starting to come to the end here. Like I said, I wasn't sure where this is going to go. I love having this conversation with you. I want to ask our viewers, what popped up in your head? Do you have questions? Is there something where you went, oh my God, no, that's not true? Or tell me more about this. Please let us know in our comments. Joni loves to interact as well. I'll close by saying that I'll throw it over to you. When John Gray was on the show, in one show, he said, when I think we had a similar thing that women are apprehensive about getting naked. And he said, if you're in a room naked with a man, you're the most beautiful woman there is. And he's right. We put I hope he's right. We just put too much emphasis on what the man really thinks. We worry about it more than they do. And if you disagree, let me know. Joni, how about you?
Well, John turned to me the other night And I forget what the premise was. And he said, I just see your energy. I see your beauty. I see who you are. I had no makeup on and I had my hair in the ponytail and I had these little fuzzies that were sticking out and we sometimes it looks like a bird, you know. I mean, it's just it's just who I am. And he said, I never see any of that stuff. If we go by what John said, that lines up with what John Gray said.
Mm-hmm.
So who knows? So guys, yeah, we have a lot of guys that regularly comment. It would be interesting to find out, you know, what matters to them.
Yeah. Well, Joni, thank you. As always, I will link to all of your information. Do get in touch with Joni. You can have all kinds of conversations with her. I know a lot of you already have. And Joni, we'll see you again soon on Second Act TV.
Sounds good.
If you haven't done so already, please be sure to subscribe to our channel. The button is right here. Just click on through to YouTube, and when you see the little bell right next to the subscribe button, hit that too, and we'll notify you every time we launch a new video. See you next time.